Shalom, everybody. You know what this is? This is me, Travon Jones, Conscious Talk Channel, Travon Jones, Conscious Talk Channel, where I like to talk to you, my people. This is crazy. This is really, really crazy. Do me a favor. I want you guys to come in pressing that thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to my channel, press that subscribe button. Leave a comment in the comment section. You know, it's just amazing to me how the government works, how corrupt the government really and truly is on a large scale. You know, the whole time that we had Trump in office, you had the Democrats trying to knock down everything that he was doing, trying to stop him from everything he's doing. He made it a point to say that he wanted to build a wall to keep all these illegal immigrants out. He made it clear that this is what he wanted to do. He wanted to build a wall. But the Democrats, Biden, Kamala, they all were going out of their way to stop him. This is what they were doing. But it's just amazing to me how all of a sudden he allows all these immigrants to come into this country. Because what you have to understand is there's a reason why he allowed all of them to come over into this country in the first place. You know, because we're running out of people. We're running out of workers. We're running out of people that are going to do the dirty work. You know, because once you've been in this country for a long period of time, you start demanding things. You start demanding more wages. You start demanding fair treatment, rights and all these type of things. So to fix this, it's just easier to just go get some more foreigners who will be happy to be in this country, who need to take below minimum wage because they have a job. Because the lie is that, in America, this is the great melting pot and you can achieve any and everything in this country. Although that may be true on some levels, but this place is not the way that it used to be. It is falling apart and we're watching it fall apart right in front of our faces. But this Biden, the person that you all voted for, decided that he was going to let all these migrants in. And all these migrants are just basically just causing a lot of problems, especially the people that are in Chicago, people in Los Angeles. These people are just basically taking over. But the problem is a lot of them come over with their bad attitudes, their racism, their hatred, and they just basically just push you all out the way, and talk in their language and just isolate you and make you feel like you're a second-class citizen in your own damn land. This is what they do. So Biden allows them to come over, and then all of a sudden, because we realize that Trump, all his numbers are up. You have people who were voting Democrat are deciding now, I'm not voting Democrat this time around. You have a lot of black people, so-called black people in particular, who voted Democrat. A lot of black women voted Democrat, and a lot of simp-ass black dudes voted Democrat because they thought that Biden would be better, because they just simply did not want Trump in office because he was what they would consider an arrogant ass bastard. So they didn't want him in. So they did everything they possibly could to get him out. Now, we all know that they all cheated. A lot of those ballots were fraudulent and Trump won. Bottom line, just like he's winning now, he won then also. But there was a lot of fraudulence that went on with the ballots. But now all of a sudden, Biden wants to put a halt on all these migrants and illegal immigrants coming over here because he knows that he's losing votes. He knows that a lot of people that voted for him in the last election are pissed off at his ass. They're angry and they're pissed off because, you're not helping us out. You thousands of years, we've been in this country forever because the slave trade was told to us in reverse, y'all. That the slave trade was a lie, but that's a whole different story, a whole different situation for another time. But with that being said, so-called Black people have been in this country forever. We have paid our due. We have built this country up and made it comfortable for everybody else to be able to just come in and just step all over us and come on in and just move us all out the way. While everybody else is getting a leg up, so-called Black people are continuously being stepped on. All this money that they are using to help the Ukrainian people, to help the Venezuelan people, just bringing them all over here, bringing their children over here. This is what they're doing. They're just bringing them all over here, all the while taking the resources that should be going to American people, American citizens. They're taking those same funds and helping these Venezuelan people and all these other foreigners that are coming over here at alarming rates. They are coming over here by the thousands. And now all of a sudden you have Biden who wants to build a wall. Now this is something that should have been done. Even if it works, if it doesn't work, they are leaving open to allow these people to just come over at alarming rates, the way that they're coming over. Now all of a sudden, because he knows he's losing votes and he knows that people don't want to vote Democrat. But the whole time when we were telling Democrats, yo, this man is evil. Biden has been in the game for over 45 years. He's been in politics. He's been in the game for over 45 years and ain't nothing changed. He didn't get that Jim Crow Joe name for all. He didn't get it for nothing. So anybody that could look at his track record and see what type of person he is, and you can still vote for him anyway, something wrong with you. Something is wrong with a whole lot of you motherfuckers that voted for him, knowing his track record against so-called Black people. Y'all knew it. And then he brought in Kamala, who's Asian person, until it's time to vote. Then all of a sudden she becomes African American. She becomes a quote unquote Black woman. Her track record. The way that she was putting Black men in prison and keeping them in there, even though we were finding out, okay, this person shouldn't be in prison. That person shouldn't be in prison. We need to get them out. She wanted to keep them in there. She wasn't trying to get them out. She was trying to keep them in there, y'all. So it's just amazing to me how anybody that can see this man's track record and vote for him anyway is amazing to me. Because you just simply didn't want Donald Trump to be the president because he's arrogant. He's an asshole. Cool. But then there goes that toxic masculinity that, people in America like to talk about. He's the face of that toxic masculinity that everybody keeps talking about. But that's what you need. You need a real man, and you need someone who's going to handle business. But Biden all of a sudden knows he's losing votes, so now all of a sudden he wants to build up a wall. This is what he's trying to do now. After allowing all these people to come over in this country, and not only that, he has granted them temporary citizenship. So we're calling them illegal immigrants, but in reality, they're not illegal because he has giving them temporary citizenship. Now we know they're not going home. They're not going to go nowhere. They're going to stay right here because white people are they're doing their whole race is just dying out at alarming rates. So they use these other groups of people to pad their numbers. Because I can't tell you, just being in nursing, if I look at a patient's chart or something like that, sometimes some of these immigrants, if you look at their race, it says that they're white. That's what it'll say. I've seen some African people, African patients that I've taken care of. It says they're white. See, they're using these people to pad their numbers up, because even though they are at the bottom of the population and they are very, very small, they use other groups of people to make it appear as though their numbers are higher up than what they actually are. But their numbers are very, very low. But in order to stay in power, they have to use these other groups of people. But what a lot of, these Democrats don't understand, these foreigners are not going to come over here voting for them. They're not going to come over here voting for them. And Latino people, are Catholic, and they don't believe in a lot of this LGBT. They would never vote for these type of things in the first place. And your biggest votes are the so-called African American and the Black people. We're the ones that they're always focusing on to vote. And I want y'all to pay attention to that. They never focus on the Asian man or woman to vote. They never focus on any other group. It's always the Black vote, the Black vote, the Black vote, because they want to see how bamboozled we are. And they know that our votes are important. So they want to make sure that we are constantly voting for them. But Biden knows that he has fallen drastically. So now he feels like he has to do something to make a change. But anybody that would vote for him at this point, in my opinion, is an idiot, because we see what he is doing and how corrupt he is. His son is a crackhead and a drug addict, and forbid that his son goes to prison and gets treated like a so-called Black or African American, because, he gets special treatment. It's amazing how all of a sudden this drug thing, when white people are doing it, all of a sudden it's just, well, it's an illness, it's a sickness. But when we were doing it, we were being put in prison at alarming rates. Some of us are still in prison for something that happened, for some drug offense that happened over 20 years ago or 15 years ago. But these are the type of people that Kamala Harris was trying to keep in the prisons and wasn't trying to let them out. But one thing I can say about Trump is that he was pardoning people. He was allowing people to get out, especially if it didn't make any sense for them to be in prison in the first place. He was saying, get these people up out of there. Get them up out of there. But evil ass people like Kamala Harris, Biden, you have to understand that is slavery reincarnated, because slavery has never gone away. Slavery still exists now. It still exists today. It's just in a different form. It's not blatant in your face. But anytime your ass go to prison, you lose all your rights. You lose you, basically. And you have to be told when you can take a shower, when you can eat, when you can do anything. And basically, you're working basically for free. A lot of these businesses that exist today, like Starbucks, McDonald's, I want to say Jack in the Box, not In-N-Out, but Burger King. They all use prison labor, to make their products. They use prison labor to make their products, their uniforms. They use prison labor to make the cartons for their drinks, the packaging for their food, all these things. This is all prison work shit. And it's for free. Basically, they're working for hours and hours on end for free. So slavery has never left. And you have a lot of people who invest in prisons. You have a lot of celebrities who are investing in prisons because it's a big moneymaker. So, and when you have these privately owned, prisons, you have to fill them up. You have to get people in there, in those prisons. You got to get them in there. So that's what Biden and Kamala Harris and a lot of the Democrats were doing. But it's amazing to me how you see certain Black people who are stuck on this Democratic thing, stuck on it because certain Black people do benefit from the Democratic Party. While the majority of us don't benefit from it at all, Black men, we don't benefit from the Democratic Party at all. Not in the least. Black people, so-called Black people in general, don't. But there are certain groups of people who are of elite status, certain celebrities, people that are in a certain tax bracket. They benefit from being a Democrat because a lot of the benefits they get is financial, all type of tax breaks and things of that nature. Because you can listen to Steve Harvey all day, and he will clown the hell out of Trump all day long and try to convince you how horrible Trump is, all the while uplifting Biden, even though we see exactly what he's doing. But see, he's one of those celebrities, one of those clowns who actually benefit from being a Democrat. And it's his job to try to convince the rest of us, no, you vote Democrat, so that people like him can stay up. Not you, but people like him can stay up. You have a lot of Black women in particular who benefit from the Democratic Party. You have a lot of them that benefit from it because they get a lot of, free schooling. They don't have to pay for their schooling, anymore. They get all type of tax breaks, child care breaks. They get jobs. They get to be put in different positions, higher positions. So a lot of women in particular benefit from being a Democrat. That's why it's a lot of Black women's job to convince you, Black man, to vote Democrat. And when you don't want to do it, here comes the shaming tactics. And then they'll get a simp ass dude, who's a woman follower, who sounds like a man, but really is emotional like a woman, telling you how stupid you are because you want to vote to be a Republican, or you don't want to vote at all. They'll tell you this lesser of two evils thing and tell you, no, it's important for you to vote. Your ancestors died for you to vote. No, my ancestors died for me to be treated correctly. My ancestors died for me to have the freedoms that I'm supposed to have the land that I am supposed to have, that was promised to my people, that was just taken and stolen from us. That's what I'm supposed to have. I'm not surviving and living just to vote. That is not what our ancestors died for. Our ancestors did not die to vote for someone who don't give a damn about you, that don't care anything about you. And how could you take any type of lessons or any type of instructions from your enemy? Someone who's never going to have your best interests at heart, whether it be Republican or whether it be Democrat. We see what the Democrats do. We witness and we see what they do at alarming rates. But again, there are those who are actually benefiting from it. So it's their job to spread to the masses. No, you got to vote Democrat, so that way I can stay up, so that we can keep some of these people in office that should have been out of office a long time ago, like Maxine Waters. Why the fuck is she still in office? Is what I want to know. I'm really curious as to know. Dianne Feinstein, she just died. She died in office. The woman could barely see. Her eyes looked like they was closed shut. I mean, she looked like a walking dead skeleton by the time she got up out of here. She should have been retired. Maxine Waters should have been gone. But they hold on to these people that should have been gone. That's amazing to me how how this shit works and how we can have some old ass, dusty, crusty ass man, Biden, who looks like he's ready to go to a senior citizen's home any day now and just sleep the rest of his time away. Just that's what he needs to do. Just sleep and rest. But we all know he's a puppet because there are people that are directing him and telling him what he needs to do. And he's just following it. But again, he knows that his time is limited and his time is up. So now all of a sudden he knows he's pissed off a lot of people that voted for him. A lot of black people voted for him because they simply just didn't want Trump. And now all of a sudden, all these migrants that are over here are in the way, causing problems, taking resources that should be going to us, because we are Americans. We are the true Americans. So-called African Americans, so-called black people are the true Americans. And we know that these people that are just coming over here, and you got a lot of us, especially a lot of the citizens from Chicago, who are saying we are not anti-migrant. And we listen, yes, we are. We are anti-migrant. Yes, we are. I am, because you can't go to any of these other people's countries doing what they're doing and think that it's going to be peaceful. It's going to just, they're just going to allow you to just come over there without any hostility, without any horrible treatment. You got to be out of your mind. You got to be out of your mind. But only over here in America, we're supposed to just sit back and we get stupid people tell us, well, they're human beings too. They're humans just like you. Don't give a fuck. We understand that they're quote unquote human beings just like us, but they need to take their asses somewhere else. You giving them our money that we work hard for, and we didn't say anything about where this money should be going. You're just taking our hard-earned money and giving it to groups of people that we didn't want you to give it to. We don't want you giving our money to them. As a matter of fact, we don't have any room for them at all. We don't have any room for them. And yes, I am anti-migrant. I'm anti you taking I want you to go home. That's what I want you to do. Whether you're a criminal, whether you just coming out here because you want a better life, do it the right way. Do it the right way. That's all. If you want to come over here, then you need to do it the right way. You illegally crossing the border and just bringing your ass over here, and Biden just allowing you to just come over here, because so he can patent his numbers up, it's not okay. And you moving them into our neighborhoods. See, you won't take those same people and move them into white neighborhoods, into their areas. Move them over there. Because a lot of them are coming over here sleeping in tents. And in Chicago, that's no place for them to be sleeping. Why would you allow these people to come over here and have them sleeping in tents, having their children sleeping in tents? And you can't tell me that a lot of these children are coming over here by themselves. They have lost their parents. They are being trafficked. And in some cases, I believe that they're being organ harvested. In a lot of cases, a lot of these children are being taken to, to be used as sex slaves and things like that. This shit is actually happening to these people. But they coming over here, quote unquote, to get a better life. But you have them sleeping in tents and shit and sleeping in buildings that were made for us. These buildings are supposed to be schools for our community, for our children, for our people. But instead, we have to sit up there and house people that you just let come over here at alarming rates. And now all of a sudden, we're supposed to be okay with that. We're supposed to be okay with the fact that they're just bringing all these people over here and pushing us out the way. Black people have been fighting and fighting for a long time. After we built this country up, yeah, we want reparations. We've been fighting for reparations for a long time. And yes, we want our reparations. But you see where a lot of our money is going? Instead of us getting what we need to build better schools, to build organizations, things that are going to help our youth, they're giving it all to other groups of people. They're taking our money and giving it to other groups of people. So this is the reason why I say that we are at war. So-called Black people, we have been at war. We are at war, because we're always the ones getting shitted on and getting basically nothing. Other groups of people can come over here and get things, like Asian people. They can use us, beat our asses in their shops and things like that, and then all of a sudden start whining and crying, talking about they're being mistreated, and then Kamala Harris, who's Asian, Indian or whatever the fuck she is, gives the Asian people a crime bill. Hell, they just got the Vietnamese people or some Koreans or whatever. They just got a spot in Los Angeles where that'll be their little area. Like you got Chinatown, now you're gonna have another Asian town right here in Los Angeles off of Rosecrans and some other kind of street. I said, good Lord, this is some crazy fucking madness. But so-called Black people, we can't get a goddamn thing. We can't get nothing. We can't even get any respect. But like I tell so-called Black people, stop calling yourself Black. And the only reason why I use that term Black is because just so that you can understand who I'm talking to and who I'm referring to. But we are not Black. We are not African American. Those are misnomers. How can misnomers? How can you be two not even countries? These are not even countries. There is no country called African American. There is no country called Black. That's the reason why that's one of the main reasons why you're never going to get reparations. That's one of the main reasons we're never going to get reparations, because we keep calling ourselves something that doesn't exist. Do you know that they use these terms to basically erase us? Even though we still are here, we still exist. We are the Aborigine people of what we call America today. Before it was called America, we have been here in this country. We've been here. We've been here. But we have been basically written out. We have been written out. So by changing who we are, by changing, our nationality, now we're called Black. Now we're called African American. So with those names, you're never going to get anything. We're never going to get anything. Every other group has a nationality. Every other group can go hundreds and thousands of years and they know who their great-great-grandmother is and their great-great-grandfather is. And they keep their names. They know who they are. It's so-called Black people, so-called African American people who keep being renamed and reclassified. It's just amazing to me how I can go down a whole list of my ancestors, because I've done a lot of my genealogy, but I can look at, just my ancestors where we started out from being Indians to being called colored, to being called Negro, to being called Black, and now to be called African American. That is amazing to me, how they just keep changing our nationality and how we keep getting written out. Because again, we're still here. We're just called Black now and called African American now. But our people have always been here in what we call America today. We didn't come from Africa. A lot of us were sold to Africa, and then we were resold to European people and and all these type of things, because yes, African people had us in slavery too. So while you over here hotepping it up and doing Egyptology and all that bullshit, you are not an African. You don't know nothing about Africa unless you took your black ass and got a passport and took your ass up there your damn self. But can't none of your ancestors tell you anything about Africa. And that's one thing that I can respect about Trump, because he knows the truth. He knows who we are. He knows who we are. When you had that Diane, that one chick, I can't think of her name, but she was, calling herself Pocahontas. Oh no, well, actually, Trump was calling her Pocahontas, being funny. But she looks European all day long, calling herself Native American, Indian. Trump knows who the hell we are. It's just high time that a lot of us start actually acknowledging who we are, because a lot of us know who we are too. You can ask a lot of black people and they will tell you they got a grandmother or an auntie or grandfather or uncle, somebody to say, yeah, we're Indian. We ain't never heard no stories of Mother Africa, ever. This is our homeland, and we are being exiled out of our own damn homeland, y'all. We're being exiled. This is what Martin Luther King was talking about. See, it's amazing how they hated Martin Luther King. Then all of a sudden, now that he's dead, I have a dream. That's the only speech that they focus on with Martin Luther King. That's the only speech that they focus on with Martin Luther King. They don't focus on no other speeches. Martin Luther King was telling us how they took white peasants from other countries and brought them over into our lands, because we had a bunch of land, y'all, that was taken from us. We had a bunch of land, and it was given to white peasants, and they needed us to farm it. So they took the people that knew how to farm the land, which was us, and they took our land right from up under us and reclassified us. Martin Luther King tells you this is what happened to us. Well, they didn't like that when Martin Luther King was saying that. When he was telling the truth and saying they took white peasants and was giving them money just so they can come over here and take your land. So a lot of times when these white, and when you get a white motherfucker talking about, well, my grandfather, my great grandfather came off the Mayflower and had nothing, and they came over here and they built themselves up and pulled themselves up by the bootstraps. That's a fucking lie. The government gave them money to farm this land, to take your land right from up under you. The government gave them money. And Martin Luther King was telling you that. There is nothing new under the sun. What we're witnessing now is what happened back then with Martin Luther King was telling us. We're witnessing all these migrants coming right over here, and they are giving money. They're giving money, and they're giving help just so that they can come over here and take your land right from up under you. This is what they're doing. This is what they're doing. Once again, the same old tactic. Nothing new up under the sun. They've been trying to get rid of us. They kill us, excuse me, I can't say that word on YouTube, but they try to delete us constantly on every level you can think of. Because again, so-called African-American people, we are at war. We are at war. And we are surrounded by our enemies. Because they're coming over here trying to kill your ass off, trying to displace you, trying to move you out of the way, all the while bringing people from Venezuela, Ukrainian people, bringing them all over here to move your ass out of the way. Isn't it amazing how the Most High just keeps his hand on us? How he just doesn't let our enemies just totally destroy us? Isn't that amazing? This is how you know that we are God's chosen. We ain't living like it, though. We ain't living like it, and we ain't acting like it. Our women are not living like it, and they are not acting like it. right now. And this is what we're going through. We're living up under these curses because we just can't get it right. But the Most High hasn't allowed our enemies to get rid of us. We are still here. By the grace of the Most High, we're still here. And a third of us are we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it right. Because this is our land, y'all. This land was promised to us. We can say that Africa is the motherland all day long, but it's not. America is the motherland. This is our motherland. We have so many treasures and so many things, gold and everything you can think of. We had it right here that was taken from us. Taken from us. You know, and then they take the children and just teach them and pour into them what they want to pour after they killed off all our chiefs and all of our leaders, kill them off. So now they just teach, you know, the children, you know, what they want us to learn. But it's just high time that a lot of us are waking up and we're starting to come back to who we are. We're starting to come back to who we are. It just reminds me of The Lion King. Now, how many of y'all saw The Lion King, the original one, the cartoon when it first came out? I was a kid when that cartoon came out. I remember years ago, my father took me to go see the Lion King. Man, when I tell you, just that movie, just even now, just touches me, because a lot of times what your enemy will do is put things in movies, and they'll use you, and they'll use biblically based themes to tell a story. You know, they'll just change the names or change things up a bit. But a lot of these things are biblically based. And a lot of times these movies are talking about you, so-called black man, so-called black woman, because a lot of us are so lost and we don't know who we are. We have lost who we are as a people. I need you guys to like, share, and subscribe. Press that thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed. And if you want to leave a comment in the comment section. But a lot of us are just so destroyed. And in that movie, The Lion King, you had Simba. I believe I'm saying his name right. The little cub who grew up. His father was killed. The brother was jealous of him because he was the king, and he Thorn, I believe his name, wanted to be king. He felt like he wanted to be the king, but you know, it was Simba's father who was the one that was ruler of everything, and Simba was going to be the one who was going to basically, you know, inherit everything once, you know, he passed on. So the uncle kills, you know, the king and tells Simba to run away and never return. And then he sends the enemies, the hyenas, to go after him to kill him. Well, they didn't do what they were supposed to do. They let him live, you know, he got away. So they, instead of saying, you know, Simba's still alive and we didn't kill him, they just forget all about it and say, well, he's a cub, he ain't gonna live, you know, anyway, he's gonna die out there in the elements. So whatever. And then all kind of bad things are just happening. You know, the land that was promised to them, the land that is now, it's just all bad. The water's bad. There's no food. You know, they're eating everything. You know, they're living in a shithole, basically. All the while, Simba forgot all about his life, you know, that he once had with his mother and his father. You know, he forgot all about that. And he ends up with strangers, you know, other nations of people. See, Simba was used to eating deer and, you know, antelope and, you know, eating good food. And these other people were eating trash. Basically, they were eating worms and snails. And Simba was like, yo, what the hell is that? Like, I don't eat that. You know, I eat, you know, this. I don't eat that. And he had to learn how to adjust. He had to get in where he can fit in, basically. And he learned the ways of the heathen. He learned the ways of other groups of people, other nationality of people. And when confronted and faced with, you have to go back. You have to go back and you have to remember who you are. He didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do it. And when that monkey came, who was like Moses or somebody, you know what I'm saying, realized that he was still alive and said, oh, I got to go find him. He's grown now. I got to go find this, you know, find him now and let him know he needs to return and take his rightful place as king so that things, the balance can go back to, you know, in righteousness, the way it's supposed to. So when the monkey finds him, he's like, yo, you got to go back home. You got to go back. You have to take your rightful place. And Simba just wasn't trying to hear that shit at all. He was like, yo, I can't do it. You know, I forgot all about it. I don't want to face it, basically. You know, and I want to see my dad again. My dad, you know, left me when, you know, when I was young, and I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So when he saw his reflection in that water, he said, that's not my dad. But then he saw a vision of his father, and his father told him, you have forgotten who you are. You are your forefathers. You are them. You are them. So you looking for me. I'm in you. You are a king. You are king. And once Simba realized that, he had to go back and he had to take his rightful place. See, this is what's happening to us right now. A lot of us don't want to face the fact that, you know, we are the true inhabitants of this world. We have gold in our skin, for God's sake. We are of this earth. And we have to take our rightful place on who we are. And a lot of us are afraid, and a lot of us just don't know. Because we've been in captivity for so long, and we've had other nations of people just downing us and stepping all over us, and we being born into this, we think this is all that there is. But it isn't. See, they tell you, oh, you just come from slavery. You are just a slave. That's what you are. See, when you call yourself black and you call yourself African American, you're calling yourself a slave. You don't exist. You don't exist. And your enemies know it. But it's high time that we come back to who we actually are, because the Most High gave all of this to us. We are the true inhabitants of this earth. So-called black man, so-called African American woman. We are the true inhabitants of this earth. And we have been closed-minded. We've been beaten down. And we have forgotten who we are. But the Most High is reminding us. And he's sending people. He's waking up people, and he's sending people to be able to tap you and say, no, you're important. You're an important person. You're important. And it's high time that you realize that you are important. And when we start getting back to that, we're going to make a whole lot of people nervous. A lot of other groups are going to be nervous because they depend on us being lost. in order for them to thrive, in order for them to live. But we got to get it together. We definitely got to get it together because we're losing who we are. We are losing who we are, family. In order for these other groups of people to thrive, we have to stay in a confusion that we're in order for other groups to thrive. And I got to tell you, I'm getting really tired because I get so angry. The more information that I find out about who I am, you know, and how they just keep taking our nationalities and just changing them up and just, the way that they keep doing us, and I was just reading up on the Grand Canyon and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, a lot of hidden treasures are there. A lot of the things that actually will prove that we were here already are at the Grand Canyon. And a lot of those places are blocked off. You don't have access to certain spots of the Grand Canyon. You can't go in here. You can't go there. Our people thrive there. We're there and have built all those things. Statues made of gold and statues of who we were and what we look like. Statues with what you would call nappy hair. We have it. We have it. And your enemies know who you are. They know who you are. But a lot of us are waking up now. Thank God. Thank the Most High that we are starting to wake up and see who we really are as a people. To see who we really are. My internet is going in and out, you guys. So I'm going to wrap this video up. But Biden is on his last legs. Kamala is on her last legs because she was really hoping that she was going to be the first female president. I know she was really hoping. She was really hoping. But it don't look like it's going to happen. It just doesn't look like it's going to happen. But it's high time that we start waking up and coming back to who we are. We have to do it. And it's hard. It's difficult. And it's just amazing to me, that we, being the chosen people, we don't even want to do simple things like follow the Sabbath. We don't even want to do things like that. Don't you know your enemies coming to your neighborhood every Saturday in my neighborhood? All your enemies got shit lined up. They selling everything all on the corners. I mean, you can't even walk down the damn street on the sidewalk because they got shit they got the sidewalks just all lined full of shit. Full of shit because you can't get nothing. You can't go, you can't pass through. Basically, you got to walk on, in the street just to be able to get through. Your enemies are selling you things on the Sabbath. That is a telltale sign that these people are demonic and they're trying to keep you in sin. Just little things like that is your enemies to thrive and to stay in power. When we just break little things just like that, and we don't even realize that's what we're doing. We breaking these rules, these laws, and we don't even realize that's what we're doing. But you have to understand your enemy has to keep changing your name, keep changing who you are so that you can't, connect the pieces. But the Most High is allowing us to connect the pieces. He's allowing us to be able to put the puzzle together. And those of us who are going to wake up are going to wake up. Because honestly, we really shouldn't be voting in the first place. really, if you're going to quote unquote put a leader over you, it should be someone from your own tribe. It should be someone from your own group that should be over you. It shouldn't be, you know, someone from a different nationality who does not have your best interests at heart at all. At all. They don't care anything about you. They just see destruction. That's it. And they see you as a slave, something that we can use, that I can use. This is what your enemies see you as. And again, there is nothing new under the sun, but it's amazing to me how other groups of people can keep coming over here, and us so-called black, so-called African-American people just keep staying stagnant at the bottom. We just keep being right at the bottom, while other groups of people within 5, 10 years, 3 years, they come over here and they have their own business. Now they own their own little shop. All the while we still working on the job, trying to pay Peter to rob Paul to pay Peter, or however that saying goes. This is what we be doing. And some of us are fortunate to take good jobs and, to live decent lives, but that's not the way we're supposed to be living. We're not supposed to be living like this. This is not the way that the Most High had for his chosen to be living. But we are under the curses right now. We're under these curses, and a lot of our women are being cursed at alarming rates, because every time I turn around, it's another black woman being killed. Excuse me, we can't use that word on YouTube. Being deleted at alarming rates. Young girl was just found hung. And code word for whenever one of us are hung, they'll say the word, he committed suicide or she committed suicide. I don't know so-called black person that will hang themselves and commit suicide like that. I ain't never heard of no shit like that before in my life. So-called black people don't do shit like that. We don't do shit like that. We do not do things like that. But that's code word for we got another one, because you have to understand that's mockery. The Most High, who we call Jesus, was hung on a tree. He was hung on a tree. They say a cross, but it was a tree. So that's mockery. That's how you know you're the chosen. Another dead giveaway. They only do those type of things to you. They only hang you, people that look like you, and then say it was suicide. That's code word for we got another one. We hung, basically. That's code word for that. And it's amazing how they just get away with it by saying, we don't do shit like that, y'all. We don't do things like that. But this is what they'll say that we're doing. But I need you guys to leave me a comment in the comment section. Press that thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you are not subscribed to my channel, y'all. But tell me what you think about this whole Biden thing, because he's secretly actually trying to build a wall right now, y'all. He didn't let all these people in, gave them temporary citizenship, and now he's ready to close the borders up and build a wall, because he knows that a lot of black people, so-called black people, are pissed and angry and will not be voting for him again. So I guess this is one way to try to redeem himself. And I just hope that so-called black people ain't stupid to vote for him again after. I hope that black people are not foolish enough and silly enough and dumb enough to vote this man back in, but he'll never be president ever again. And we just supposed to just sit here and just deal with it. No, we need to start speaking. We need to start praying and fasting. And not only that, but we need to start wishing death to our enemies. See, a lot of us been brainwashed to say, oh no, you have to pray for your enemies. Yeah, you pray for them, all right. You pray for their destruction. That's what King David did. Our forefather, because he's our forefather. He prayed for destruction of his enemies. That's what we have to do. We have to pray for destruction, not happiness, not for them to do well and to be better. No, we need them to stop. We need them to be destroyed. Fasting and praying and pray for our destruction of our enemies. That's what we have to do. So that so-called African American, so-called Black people can return to the rightful place that we are supposed to be in. And I know a lot of you enemies of ours, I know y'all afraid, I know y'all scared, but you should be. Because the Most High ain't for you. He's our leader. He's our family. And he's going to come and redeem us. Those aliens and UFOs that y'all talk about, those are really High's angels. And they're going to come back and redeem us. And they're going to come back for us. See, when our ancestors used to sing that song, swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. There was a reason for that. Those were messages, hidden messages. Those UFOs are going to swing low and they're coming to pick us up and rescue us and save us and return us to our rightful place that we are supposed to be in. Hallelujah. That's where we're supposed to be. Not in this situation that we're in, bondage. We're over here making everybody else's lives easier. We're the salt of the earth, but yet we're living like shit compared to how we really supposed to be living while we're over here uplifting all these other people. No. Nope. Got to stop this madness. We got to stop it. We deserve so much more. We are the Most High's chosen. And it's high time that we start coming back to who we are as a people, as a nation. Old nation not desired. But it's amazing how other groups of people can love our culture, love how we do things, love how we invent things, you know, how they are swagger jacking our culture, you know, how we rap, how we sing, how we dance, how we walk, how we talk. They take all these things, but in the same breath, hate you the way that they hate you. That's amazing to me. That is amazing to me that these same people can hate you just as much as they worship you and admire everything that you do. It's amazing. That's how you know you are the chosen. That's how you know that the Most High has his hand on us, because he hasn't gotten rid of us. They've tried with everything you can think of, because again, we are at war. From poisoning us, from giving us all these vaccine shots, the Tuskegee situation, mass incarceration, all these different things that they keep doing to us at alarming rates. But yet we still are here. We still are thriving. That speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. That's how you know we're chosen. Because Biden can let all these Venezuelan people over here and Ukrainian people over here, but heaven forbid a so-called black person, a Haitian, come over here. We got to stop that right now. Don't you let one of these Haitian people come over here. No, they'll close that border up, because only it only benefits them. It only benefits people that don't look like us. People that look like us, they don't get the same treatment. They get treated like shit. You stay in your country. As a matter of fact, they're going to send your ass back. You better not bring your ass over here. You can't come over here. But everybody else, can. And they even have dating sites up and available for Ukrainian women. You can get you a Ukrainian woman now. It's amazing. Now they got Venezuelan women. They have dating sites for Venezuelan women now, y'all. Just Google it. You can get you a beautiful Ukrainian woman or a Venezuelan woman now. Wow. But we need unity, because one thing I need you to remember, we are not black. We are not African American, y'all. We are American. Don't put a black on it. We're black. No, you're not. You're black Israelites. You're black. We are the true Israelites. That's who we really are. That is who we are. We are God's chosen. But we've been in America for thousands of years. This is our homeland. We ain't been to Africa. We've been here. We did a lot of trading and things of that nature. African people knew that we were here for a long time. They're the ones that told Christopher Columbus how to find us. He didn't just run up on us like that. He knew we were here because he was told by the African people. But they had to come over here and make slaves out of us because we were living too good. They said, oh no, we got to put a stop to this. These people can work. And that's what they did. Well, our 400 years are up, and we need to come back to the Most High so that we can reclaim our land and who we are as a people. But stop calling yourselves African American and black. Quit doing that, because it's never going to benefit you. We're never going to get reparations under that. But I need you guys to like, share, and subscribe. And I'm going to see you all on the next video. Shalom.